Hello, welcome back. Today we will talk about the Phillies versus Braves three-game series down in Atlanta, Georgia that just wrapped up late last night. Um, the Phillies did end up losing the series. Their first series loss this year, but it was a weird one in that game three, that rubber match. Um, it was, and now after losing their first series, we're seeing some crazy shuffling up tonight in the Phillies order. Going to St. Louis in just a few minutes away from that, actually. It is going to have to start soon in about 10-15 minutes. So we will see how these changes work. A new leadoff hitter back to back we haven't seen before, So we'll discuss that. But first, let's talk about this Phillies versus Braves three-gamer that the Phillies did end up losing, like I said. Now, it started in game one, where the Phillies got off to a rocky start, down in the first inning when their first two guys got out, but then two guys, Alec Bohm and Kyle Schwarber, both drew ways to get on base. They both got hits, and they both got base knocks in the first inning to get on base two singles, and then Nick Castellanos drove Alec Bohm in with a single of his own, I think. Yes, it was three straight singles. But then just an inning later in the bottom of the second, Sean Murphy caught Wheeler making a mistake. Yes, Zach Wheeler was on the mound for game one, the Phillies Cy Young candidate every year. And now something that happens is with one out in the inning. Now this home run was with two outs, so this is important to note. There was a fly ball heading to the left center field. Uh, Edmundo Sosa originally did call the ball. It was kind of 50-50, but Rojas kind of waved him off, like, oh, I got it, and then watched the ball bounce right in front of him for a double. And then just a few bats later, Sean Murphy comes out with two outs and a three-run home run to make the game 3-1 for Atlanta and just completely flipped the script on the Phillies. Now, even with this, the Phillies weren't going to go out without a fight as they rallied right back in third. As just one out, Kyle Schwarber hit a two-run. Yes, you're hearing this correctly. Triple. Kyle Schwarber hit a triple. One of the rarest things you'll see is Kyle Schwarber hitting a triple. And it's great for him, really. He actually had a chance at the cycle in this game. I think he was a double short of the cycle, and that tied up their game at 3 in the third. And coming up right after him was Nick Casty, and he drove him in with a double. So the Phillies actually went down 2 runs, but they stormed right back to up 4-3. And in the fifth inning, just 2 innings later, with two outs, Schwarber hit a ball 462 feet. Yes, 462 to get the Phillies a 2-run lead. Then Wheeler came in up in the sixth. He allowed Sean Murphy to score. Then Strong got in, but one of his runs scored on a sac fly. And then in the seventh inning, in a tie game now, Orion Kirkring let up a one-run double. That was actually 355 feet to get through, and the Braves scored one more on a sacrifice in the eighth to go up 2 runs. The Phillies could not respond. They did have a chance when Bohm came up to the plate and got a good pitch, but he could not square it up. And the Phillies did end up losing that first game of the series, 7 runs to 5. It was a good game, but altogether the Phillies couldn't do enough to grab a W on the pitching wise because I feel like it's not the batter's fault in that situation. But it was a really good game. It was a fun one. Unfortunately, we lost. Now, let's go on to game two. Game two started very slow. Uh, you could have made a lot of money. Nerfy, Nursey, Nerf 3, Nerf 4, Nerf 5. Yeah, that is true. There's no runs. No runs in the first 5 innings of this game. Not really sure what happened to the bats in this one. For the Phillies, they were obviously very quiet. That does happen a lot, and it does. It's a reoccurring thing for the Phillies through multiple years now, where their bats are very hot or bats are very cold and the pitching's very hot, and you just ruin a good game because literally not a single person can manufacture a base hit, and you're ruining a great game pitched by a guy like uh, like Ruiz, or in this case, Taiwan Walker was actually a pitcher for this game, which is another strange thing. I thought we were giving him just that one chance, but he's come back and he did have another great game. So I mean, why not come back? And this is against a little bit better team, a team we lost a series to. So you gotta take that in mind. But in this game, the Phillies did strike first for us again in the top of the sixth, where Bryson Stott hit a one-run single, uh, which would score Maxi Kepler, the new guy. But they quickly responded in the bottom of the sixth. And they actually scored 2 runs in that inning. Um, Another sac fly from Harris third, and Arcia drove in a run on a single. Um, but right in the seventh, Bryce Harper came out, the showman, in a 2-run ball exactly 400 feet to center field to give the Phillies the lead again. But just like clockwork, in the bottom of the seventh, 2 away, last batter of the inning, Austin Riley smoked one, 417 feet to left. No doubt, no chance of saving it. It was gone for good. Um, and To tie the game in the seventh. Then in the eighth, we went quiet. But in the top of the ninth, Trey Turner smoked the ball 402. It actually didn't even look like it was going to get out at one point, even though it was to that left center. It was actually, it kind of like flew over, not soared over. So I got scared, but he did get it done for the Phillies, and they won that one 4-3. Now, what made the series so special was what happened in Game 3 that the Phillies lost 4-2. We'll get to that. But this one actually started in the first inning where the Phillies started a little slow and allowed a earned run in the first due to a sacrifice. But Schwarber came up big for the Phillies again in the third, hitting a 430-foot home run. And then we scored again, a little later, we were the next score, but after that, the game went quiet through the bottom of the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, so on through nine. So it was 1-1 through 9 innings. The Phillies came up in the 10th, didn't score anything. Braves came up in the 10th. They run, and you get the man on second. They didn't score anything. The Phillies scored one on an RBI walk, but then Joe Ross led up a double and a home run to lose this one 4-2 in Atlanta through 11 innings. But what's so special about this one around the third inning is probably why no one scored. It was around the fourth or fifth inning. There was a 1.5 hour rain delay, and the game resumed closer to 11 p.m., which is kind of ridiculous when you think about the time frames that these teams are playing on to have that game even be resumed at that point, knowing well that there has been many games like this who have been postponed to later dates that maybe the Phillies would natural win on their schedule if it ends up mattering. I'm sure people will bring it up, but I don't know how much it will in the 162 game season. Um, but anyways, now it's the funness of tonight's game that is coming up shortly. Just about to start. Actually, it already started. Started with 2 outs. So let's. I guess we'll still talk about it. New leadoff hitter Trey Turner was moved to the 2 slot, and Bryson Stott, who's having a spectacular season, has been moved to the leadoff slot for tonight's game in St. Louis. He's batting 280. He 5 RBIs, which is up there in the league. .774 OPS, which is top 100 in the whole MLB. 30 teams, nine batters per team. It adds up. That's 270, and then you add all the people who will have a higher OPS because they bat once and they count towards the rankings. So, Stott will lead off tonight, and now here we are in the part of the lineup with 2 outs. We have Bryce Harper up to bat, 2-0 count to him. But now, what makes it so interesting about 2-0 count? You think they might be dodging him with 2 outs with Bryce Harper, but if they do that, they'd have to let him into scoring position with another walk because the next guy, I'd say, has more power in his bat than Harper does. As for the first time, we are seeing Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber back to back. I mean, it has just gone to a 3-ball count. This is insane because Kyle Schwarber has been our leadoff for so long. And he's finally moved back into that switching off thing against righty lefty. And now Bryce who is batting second for like the first for multiple games this year, has been moved down in the order to third. Um, in order to bat them back to back, and Harper just drew a 5-pitch walk. So we'll see if Schwarber can make them pay for the walk, because now it's actually a thing. And I guess it probably just cut, didn't it? Did it cut? I cannot see you. Oh, it didn't cut. Wow. I accidentally put up a window and I was trying to prop up my phone to tell you guys what Schwarber does now with 2 outs. I guess this will be the end of our video, seeing it the first ever Schwarber Harper back-to-back goes well. Schwarber takes that first pitch of this at-bat. He takes it center. That's an interesting one to take if you're Kyle Schwarber, because that is definitely a pitch that most guys would swing and belt. So it is an interesting one, but whatever. You know, a lot of guys prefer that pitch. Maybe he's just waiting. He's waiting. He's testing the waters, and he does take ball 1, pitch 2 for a ball. That's ball 1. The pitcher here is Palante. I've never heard of this guy. Is he new here? He is 1-0, but he has a 3.6 ERA. He allows a 2.11. That's not bad, and he allows about a .7. He's not bad. He's pitched 10 innings, so he's not really a guy who pitches a lot. He kind of like starts the game off, sees what he can do, which also makes his ERA worse because that means it's per 9 innings. As Schwarber did just take ball 2, and Schwarber he's got something. It's an in-play no out, so Harper did not score, but he did. So the Schwarber-Harper experiment. Harper walks, Schwarber singles, and now I feel like I can't leave you guys hanging on if this experiment goes well. Are the Phillies going to score a run in this inning? Are they not, now that this has technically worked? So I guess, stay with you guys until this inning is over, or if the Phillies score a run. And this is going to bring up the 5-hitter now. The 5-hitter, which I really like at the 5-hitter, Nick Castellanos. I like him in the slide, and I think he can do stuff very well. And so if this at-bat is, let's see how this at-bat goes for him. First pitch is the ball. Again, this pitcher doesn't seem to be great. In a non-mean way, but this doesn't feel like a problem that you'll see. And by the way, the Sixers are winning right now for anyone who's interested in the tank, which kind of sucks because you're not supposed to do that. We don't want you to do that. And Trae Young's not doing so hot, so pick it up, Trae. Oh, pick it up. Pick it up, man. And Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber just did a double steal. What? Wow. So two in scoring position and a 2-0 count just went through for Kyle Schwarber now. Or Nick Castellanos. Now that surprised me a lot because 1, I get Schwarber stealing a base. 2, Bryce Harper double steal. Usually Bryce Harper and Trey pull this off because Trey Turner, you're focused on him. But these 2 guys are crazy. Now let's see if Nick can do anything. Oh, that sucks. He lines out sharply to right, a 57% chance of getting down and scoring 2 runs. Not this time, though. Anyways, thank you for watching. I still think it was successful because they had a 57% chance of scoring runs at one point, and I think they should continue with this. Anyways, thank you for watching.